Funny you should, yeah, well, as soon as you mentioned the Snyder Cut, that's a very good segue for us to have our conversation about the R-rated, because it's got its rating now. It's going to be an R rating, so I think, what's that over here? 15 or an 18? I think it's a 15.
It'll be a 15. I think an R rating can be because we have such different classification things to the US. Like, I think we deem violence, extreme violence, to make it an 18 or something like that, but they deem sex or something like that to make it an R. It's some weird thing, but yeah. But I reckon it'll be a 15.
Yeah, I think 18, is it? Because Deadpool's a 15, isn't it? I think Deadpool's a 15. So yeah, it's gonna be R rated. How do you feel about an R rated Justice League?
I'm not really bothered. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, this is a good conversation then.
No, but have you seen what's given it? The thing, what they've said it is I think it says of use of bad language. So you're probably going to get 1 or 2 F-bombs dropped.
Right.
And then a bit of blood when Batman fucking hits the parademon. That's probably as much as what's going to make it a 15.
I mean,
what else is going to happen?
The bad language, who cares? I don't care. Ben Affleck is saying the word fuck. That doesn't change the standard of the film. That's not what takes Avengers Age of Ultron if Tony Stark drops a few F-bombs. That's not what's going to help the film. It's say something like Deadpool, the R rating encompasses the character and is very much at the core of who he is. That actually, yeah, he does use this language because he's not that type of superhero, whilst Batman, Superman, they're well, not maybe not so much Batman, but Superman and Wonder Woman, they're family friendly superheroes, and they don't. Yeah. Of course, you don't all have to be family friendly, all lovely PG, but they're supposed to be a bit more light-hearted and not these dark characters. So it's just
I don't want to see it. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want Batman. I don't want to hear the superheroes swearing. Can you imagine if in the Christopher Nolan Batman films, Batman starts swearing? It would just take it out. It takes away from everything else, doesn't it?
And this is what annoys me is, I feel like Snyder thinks that's him being edgy, but I'm being edgy and dark. But that's a perfect point. Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, there's no F-bombs in that. It's not R-rated, but that's still dark and more edgy than the main Justice League all dropping a few F-bombs, Superman saying the word fuck,
language.
Oh yeah, great.
You can get a lot. You can get away with a lot in a PG-13 movie without having to show and say all this stuff. I'm not being funny, but just look at The Dark Knight. You watch Joker literally put a pencil through someone's eye. That is a PG-13 movie. We can both pretty much claim this now. I guarantee you, after we've watched the Justice League Snyder Cut, we both say at the end of it was not necessary to be a R rating.
Exactly, because what is it? You're allowed one use of the word fuck, aren't you, in a PG-13? Yeah. And I always find that good, because then you got to creatively use that word, because that word on its own the word used on its own in a more family-friendly 13 is more powerful than just using it excessively.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
I don't want, you see all the parademons come down and Batman's going to go, oh fuck, and then he's going to say it again. What difference that make? It's more shocking to hear the character say it once, because that's so out of character, than the entire time. So
yeah, it makes you understand the severity of the situation they're in, as opposed to every minute Ben Affleck. I love it how we just assume it's Affleck.
Oh, it's going to be Affleck. It's going to be Affleck.
It's got to be, innit?
It's going to be Affleck.
Yeah. Oh shit.
So I hate it, and I think it's a sloppy way to be edgy. And as you say, do you need the R rating? Because Batman vs Superman Ultimate Cut is R rated, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know why.
But, I think because the warehouse scene. There's some blood in that when he throws a crate at one of the henchmen, and there's some blood hits the wall behind him.
Nah, it's not necessary, is it? Yeah. That isn't. Yeah.
Yeah, then what difference does the R rating make for the story you're trying to tell? And it's not for a character like Deadpool. it is, because that is what it's all about. It's about, this is R-rated because we want to appeal to a more mature audience, and we want to make more adult content, sort of jokes wise and action scenes. But for this, you're not doing that. You're just doing it because you think you're being edgy, and I think that was a major problem with Birds of Prey. They made that R-rated.
I was just about to say that. I haven't seen it still, have I? But I was just about to ask you, was it necessary?
No, it's not necessary, because when I was watching it, I was like, to what ends have you made this R-rated? If it's not being used in a creative manner, there's no point. All it is in the action scene, some blood flies out, when she's like hitting people, people getting stabbed. There's some swearing, there's a bit of grotesque stuff, like Ewan McGregor's character Black Mask cuts people's faces off. But then it's like, well, great, it's R-rated, who really cares? This is Harley Quinn. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, there's no need for an art. This isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator. Like, why does this need to be R-rated? This isn't a gritty action film. It's not changing the story anyway, and the film's fine. The film is fine, but it easily works without the R rating. And I just think especially DC are leaning into R rating, thinking that's what makes a film good, because they've had some success with, say, the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. But I said I haven't seen it, but I say the only thing that could make me think that a Harley Quinn film could have been R rated was just because obviously Victor Zsasz is in it. And if you're going to make him be an absolute fucking loony, I can see how that is one route you could take. But I'm assuming he doesn't in the film.
Victor Zsasz, he don't really do much. I think he's a great character. Yeah, he's a very good character. I think he dies in it as well. He doesn't do much. He's more just Black Mask's henchman, and it's hinted at that they have a relationship, which I'm fine with. It doesn't there's no problem with it, but he just seems more just unhinged, if anything, and they're not really fully utilising who the character is. But the R rating in that was, I think it's one of the key instances of, we've done an R rating just because that makes it funnier, and people like R ratings, and that's not how it works. It doesn't change the story. Take the R rating away, what do you have left? The same story. Take the R rating away from something like Deadpool, well, no, now you've completely changed the story. And that's why I'm not happy about this R rating for Snyder Cut, because now this is what happens when you just allow Snyder full reign and you say, why don't you just go for it? You need to, directors do need to be reined in. Filmmaking's collaborative. People have got to be saying, well, maybe you shouldn't put that in, maybe you should put that in. And I feel like it's funny that something like the original Star Wars films are so good because people were able to reel in what George Lucas was doing, and then they went, okay, prequels, you have free reign, and then you got some of the worst films ever made.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
The phrase "no shit, Sherlock" comes to mind.
Yeah, no, 100%, and that's as well why the MCU's so good, because they give these directors freedom to do it as they wish, but at the same time they've got our Lord and Saviour Kevin Feige watching over everything and making sure that everything is in place. You know what I mean? Like,
of course, and of course, there's always positives and negatives that you get. MCU at times, they're not very personal directed films. They've changed that of recent. Obviously, like with Thor Ragnarok, but at the same time, at least the creative decisions being made, you understand them. When something like this, giving him free reign, and he's already made 2 bad films. And now they're saying, here's your 3rd one. But this time you get complete free reign and do whatever you like. He wouldn't have released an R-rated Justice League.
One thing I'm really... Sorry, go on, mate.
No. You continue.
Thank you. One thing I'm really interested in seeing is how Snyder takes Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah, that's a weird one, isn't it?
Universe. Yeah, I'm fascinated by it.
But then that's what annoys me about this, because now it's a mismatch of loads. It sounds like it's going to become a film. The pure purpose of this film now is, this is what could come, this is what's around the corner, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not telling a story, he's telling things that could happen. You know,
I better get a story after 4.5 hours of investment.
But I would say that's one of the major problems of the DC in general is they're not stories, they're all films to come. Like Batman vs Superman, where the film stops dead for 2 minutes to show clips of the Justice League, and it's like that's so
that annoys me so
crap.
much.
Like if it's Marvel, they do it in neat little Easter eggs, a little comment here. They don't just stop the film and play. They basically stopped the film and played the trailers. It was an advert.
That awful scene where you see Jason Momoa coming out of the cave.
Yeah, and he goes, "Whoa!"
My God, that is it just frustrates me. And then I think a few minutes later you've got "She is the key" or whatever, all that crap as well. Oh my God,
and
Jesus, I've forgotten all about that.
They are adverts. They are just adverts in the film to go, this is what's to come. And it's like, that's not a story, and that's what I feel.
And it hasn't even come yet.
Yeah, exactly.
It hasn't even happened.
No, she was the key in the end, wasn't she? She was the key in the end. Lois Lane was the key.
She was the key. Yeah, you're right.
It was rubbish, but it was tacked on. But she was kind of the key, I think.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, no, because no, he was...
scene in BVS is ridiculous as well when you watch that.
What?
With Doomsday, it's appalling.
Yes, it's awful.
And I'm not even the
and you
biggest
say you
BVS
like
hater.
it.
No, I'm not the big... I don't think it deserves as much shit as it gets, but it's not a good movie. It's not a good movie. The final act is appalling. Like, absolutely appalling. It's not I don't think it's an awful film. I really don't.
Oh, it's awful. It's awful.
I think Suicide Squad is 10 times worse.
Suicide Squad is bad. They're both bad. I don't want to judge which one's worse because they shouldn't be what they are.
No, they should not. They should not.
But yeah, so the R rating is just that's what annoys me. People saying, "Oh, imagine," because what I can see now is all these Snyder Cut fans. They're gonna love it. They're gonna eat it up and go, "See, this is what should have been released. Snyder Cut should have come." But this isn't what he would have released. There wouldn't have been a Jared Leto. There wouldn't have been an R rating. And I think people have very short memories. The first trailer for Justice League, when Snyder was still behind it, it was very light-hearted. It was with the song Come Together. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And they released it about 18 months before the film actually come out. And they were like, oh, they're taking it in a different direction. And Snyder is on record. I need to find it. He is on record saying the natural progression of these films were to be they would get more light-hearted, and it was starting with Justice League, and now he's gone full 180 and just taken it back to where it all began. That it was
of course, 100%, but I don't think we should get all worked up on that. It's like if you have a project which is due and the delay date the day it's due gets pushed back by a year, you're going to improve upon it if you think necessary, aren't you? So I don't think that's something we should get seriously worked up on.
I get worked up because I think he's not making a story now. He is making a film for, this is what, if you all keep talking, I can then take these stories further. Instead of just, it's a trilogy, and I can just feel it. It's not going to close the trilogy off. It's going to say, here we go. Here's a trailer for a Martian Manhunter film.
Look, if you were trying to close off the trilogy, you wouldn't introduce Martian Manhunter, Jared Leto. You wouldn't introduce all these new characters in if this was the end of the trilogy. You're spot on with that. You're 100% on. He wants to get another deal signed with Warner Brothers and have something else going on. Yeah, 100%. 100%.